Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. This is the Mage in You, Mage 2000XX, part of the Darkness That Binds. So, today we are going back in time. It is currently the eve of um, August the 12th, the year of our Lord, 1097. The battle for the Holy Land has been raging for nearly 2 years now. It'll be 2 years in a matter of days. And on this evening, we have a knight sitting in front of a cross praying. Would you please introduce yourself?
Okay. The knight in question is Reinhard von Zaringen. Do we want to know his entire life story? I hope not.
No, just what you've been doing in the crusade will be fine.
Okay. So wait. What was the last major battle?
Do 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 do.
We said 97, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, okay, so it was
The Battle of Dorylium.
Dorylium. Okay. Okay, if that's the one, I think it is cool. So the battle happened now something over a month ago, and we've been pushing on towards Antioch, and we get supplies are beginning to run a little low, and but we know that God is with us, so we will find what we need, and He will guide us to victory. And Reinhardt, he's just praying for courage in battle and to do the right thing, and for the Lord to guide him towards victory.
As you're praying and as you're, kneeling before the cross, eventually, a man comes up and pulls up a stump, because that's what everyone has been using for seats. And he prays a bit, crosses himself, and then says, "I've always had a soft spot for the for the heroes of battles." It's in a very strange accent. It sounds more Germanic than it does what you are used to.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Reinhardt just looks at him and he nods, but then he continues praying.
So, that being said, How about I give you a choice today?
What choice do you speak of?
Do you look at the man at any point?
Uh, yes.
Um,
It, it would be rude not to look at him when he speaks.
that's basically what you see before you, except he's sitting down with on a stump. The wings are kind of folded up.
Oh, wait. Do I see the wings?
Yep.
No, they're folded up, you said.
Yeah, they're folded up like on his back. Like you can still see the wings. It's
Oh,
just
you can still see them.
they're not out like he's about to fly away.
Right. Okay, so the moment Reinhardt sees this, he immediately jumps to attention, but he almost stands up, but then he goes back on his knees, and he looks up at this angel, and he doesn't know what to say. He's speechless, but his eyes go wide, and he's like a little child in a candy store, basically.
So Reinhardt,
That's his facial expression.
I got you. So Reinhardt, here's your choice. I have much more important things for you to do, as does God. But as always, it is human choice. You can stay here, and on the morrow, you and your camp will be ambushed, and a great many of you will die, but you will kill some few Saracens. Or, I can take you from this place and put you where you're needed more.
I shall do whatever God wills me to do. If I am needed more elsewhere, then I shall be elsewhere.
See, this is why I love heroes. Why I love those who go to war. So much better at following instructions. So much better to receive orders.
Reinhardt doesn't really know how to respond to that, so he just keeps quiet. He just nods. He nods.
So, when I set you back down, for we will be going in a manner that you are most unknown to. When we set back down, it will be the year of our Lord 2000, and the number kind of escapes you just because of how large it is.
Right. Yeah, it's almost 1,000 years. So it's whoa. Reinhardt doesn't actually say that. That's
So, a battle is coming between angels and demons. Not the last battle, Reinhardt. As I know you as a good Christian have read your Bible thoroughly.
Reinhardt nods.
Still, the actions of a few will be of great importance to the success and victory of the angelic host. Because of this, you will be awakening into new powers that you had no idea existed.
I gladly take on this blessing.
Very good. Well then, take my hand, and you can see that the sun is just beginning to rise, like you were doing like your morning prayers.
Mhm.
And you hear a couple of horns blow in the distance. One last choice. Stay here and die a hero. Come with me and do something far greater.
I will come with you.
He grabs onto your shoulder and the world goes black and white and then is nothing but swirling images around you. Till you are placed down in a pretty screwed up location, like to your eyes. Like there are thorns big enough to impale men, and men are impaled upon them. There are whimpering people going about carrying heavy loads. There are strange beasts that walk on two legs, but that are furry. Something like the tales you heard as a child of the Wunderitch, I believe is how you say it. French werewolves.
Mhm.
And you can see this place has a red river flowing through it. And what looks like a building with much glasswork nearby. And strange runes on it.
What manner of place is this? Are we in hell?
The angel just looks at you. It is not the hell of our people, no.
Then what is it?
It is your first test.
I see. What must I do?
You must simply find a way out.
Reinhard nods.
Once you leave, you'll be in a place called New York. In a continent
York.
in a continent called North America.
North.
In a country called the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
You will be set down, if you make your way out of this, close to a church, a cathedral of grand proportions. You will find help within.
Reinhard nods. I hope I prove worthy of this blessing.
Your guide will be with you momentarily, and then I will leave you. And that being said, a man wearing the red cross with shield and sword comes striding up to you with helmet on.
And Reinhard watches him approach.
He just nods to the angel and puts his fist over his heart. I have this now. You may leave. The angel nods, and then with a sweep of his wings, dust is blown up, and you kind of have to cover your eyes to keep dust from getting them, and then the angel is gone.
Reinhard looks around where they doesn't see the angel anymore, and then looks at the man and offers his hand and says, "I am Reinhard, Who are you?
I am Roland,
The Paladin of
Paladin
Charlemagne?
of Charlemagne, yes.
Reinhardt's eyes go wide with awe. It's like he, it was. This is a great hero. He always wanted to emulate. So, and he goes down on one knee and looks up and says, "It is a great honor to meet you."
Do not kneel before me, for we shall be brothers, not only in arms, but in blood very soon.
Then Reinhardt rises and nods.
Some of the people that are like going about their business are now starting to whisper, and some of their, let's just call them overlords, have taken a notice to both of you standing there.
I was told I should find a way out from here. Do you know what direction we should go? Or actually, before let's rewind time just a little bit. Are there any obvious paths? Like, is there a road or something like that?
I'm not even going to ask you perception on that. There is obvious roads.
Okay.
One leads to what looks like an iron spike shooting straight up, like in the far distance.
Okay.
One of them looks to where it's tall buildings with so much glass. Like, surely an emperor must live there to have so much glass.
Yes, of course.
Then there's another spot with black string that is going about, and there are things that appear to be stuck in it. One of them looks like a dragon from this far back, but you can't really tell too well. There's a path that leads to a stone building with much glass on it.
And this is distinct from the other glass building.
Yes, it is different. It is much closer, perhaps 50 feet.
Okay. In that case, Reinhardt looks around and says, I was told to find a way out. Do you know the way, or do I have to?
I am merely the shield to your sword in this, brother. I am
Then
how you will be able...
Then let us examine this nearest building.
As you wish. And then he continues, I am how you will be able to work your will and bring the might of God to those who do not understand.
I do not quite understand myself what you mean by that. But let us go.
As you're walking towards it, he says, all you must do is pray and will something to work in the name of the Lord, and it will happen. For now, at least. Like a miracle worker of old.
Truly, I am blessed. And while he goes, Reinhardt loosens up his sword in his scabbard just a little bit. He doesn't want to appear menacing, but he wants to be able to draw his sword quickly if the need arises. And he walks towards the stone building.
The large and very evil-looking furred creatures, kind of, like one of them, like gives out a hideous laugh as you're approaching the stone building, and its neighbor side, it cuffs it on the head with closed fist. And you can still hear the laughter almost. You've heard of them, like some kings were said to have spotted dogs that laughed like that. aka
Mm,
hyenas.
yeah, out of character, I figured that out. uh, Reinhard uh, looks at them. He keeps his eyes on them. Seem to be they're a little too demonic for his liking, so he's keeping an eye on them.
After a little bit, like, you get up to the door,
Mhm.
and more of these creatures have come, and they have you surrounded almost in a semicircle, but they're at least 30 yards from you, and
Mhm.
the paladin beside you.
Reinhard stops and he says, "Hmm, what is this place?"
Well, brother, I know little of matters supernatural, but I do know when we are at the heart of the worm.
Worm? What kind of worm?
A beast of massive size that is trapped by something and slowly has gone insane and orders its minions about.
Hmm. So you think this path does not lead out?
I believe, as I have to roll for him, because that's what you get with one dot. Let's see if he knows any more. Okay then.
That went pretty well.
That went really well. You see him like take out his sword and he like touches the letters above the doorway, and they slightly start turning. Um, when he's done, he puts his sword back, and they're now to where you can read it. They have
Um,
gone to Latin, and the word is library.
oh, good. A library. Perhaps we can find a book here. Or perhaps one of the keepers of the library knows more about this place.
Well, this has um, some of the knowledge from old trapped inside. And he looks at some of the other things that you can see now, and he says, killing the leaders of each of these little areas that you can see means that you become that leader. So fighting our way through them to fight their masters is not the way out. It is the way deeper in.
Hmm. We shall have to avoid killing the leaders then.
However, killing any of these things that surround us would be most enjoyable.
Hmm. If they try to deter us, we will deal with them. But I was told to find a way out, not to slaughter the denizens.
You see that the knight shrugs at that, um, refixing his cloak. Well then, inward we go. Um, the werewolves are taking small steps as you're talking, like forward, but they're still 40 yards from you.
Okay, how many of them are there? Assume that I can count.
I assume that you were not enumerate. You did not take that flaw. Um, or illiterate, so I assume that you can read some language.
Yes,
Um, there's 13.
13. Hmm.
And you can just barely hear some of them whispering, an awakened one comes. Oh, it's been so many years since one of them has come here. With its avatar, no less. Oh, we will be rewarded. We will be rewarded if we capture it. Then another one says, must not go quickly, must not use haste. They can work the will upon you and turn you into rats. And he like gives like this horrible like giggle.
Hmm. So okay, so are they behind? So if I'm look, so wait, we are at the building, right?
Yes, you are in front of the door.
In front of the door, and they are behind us.
Yes, in a semicircle,
Right.
to where
Yes,
like one is on each side of you, about 40 yards from you,
right, right.
walking towards you, and there's no room to go between them and the wall, and the rest of them are arrayed out, as I said, in a semicircle to kind of box you in,
Okay. Um.
or encircle you, as the case may be.
Right. Reinhardt tries the door of the
The door shakes for a second and then opens.
and Reinhardt will step in.
As you step in, Roland just looks at the beast, pulls his helmet off for a second, spits on the ground, and then puts his helmet back on and walks inside.
Okay, what do I see inside?
Rows upon rows of books.
Is there
More books than you have seen in a lifetime.
Okay. Are there any librarians?
I need perception awareness from you.
Okay, that will be 3. What's the what do I say? Difficulty standard?
Yes, just standard difficulty.
2 successes.
Yeah, like you can kind of sense that some of them, like at least one of them, is up ahead down one of the book stacks.
Okay, so Reinhardt will go and he will walk towards the librarian, and he'll before he says anything, he'll take a look at the librarian. You know, does the librarian look human or something worse?
It looks human from the back, though it is massive. This man must stand at least 7 feet 2 inches tall.
Ooh.
But he's wearing brown monk's robes, and his feet are bare.
Okay.
But he is feeling along the bookshelves with one hand, with the other hand, like on the other side of the bookshelves, and he's just feeling along them.
Excuse me, good man. May I disturb you?
He perks up and seems to be thinking, and then he turns around. His hood is pulled down so you can't see his eyes. But it indeed is a man, and he looks kinda in your direction.
Mm-hmm.
Well then, it's been a very long time since there has been a guest inside the Library of Knowledge.
I fear I shall not be a guest for long, or at least not if things go well. I seek a way out.
Then you seek a book of knowledge.
Yes, I suppose I do. Can you help me find such a book?
He like pulls a book out of the stack, puts his hand over it, and when he looks up to reach for another book, you can tell that he has no eyes. Like they have been forcefully removed from him.
Reinhard notes that. He's a little bit shocked, but he tries to compose himself and doesn't say anything.
I can find you someone that could help you. However, I am allowed to warn you, because I was not compulsed to do otherwise. The men that will help you in this building are like lawyers. They will make you sign contracts in blood. And they will bend and twist what you want.
I see.
As you say, I see. Something happens. Wait, why does that do that? Roll 9 dice, please, at difficulty 3. You have 4 successes. You may choose. Well, no, I guess I do because this is wild magic. I'll say for the scene, and 2. So, as you say, I see. Your eyes, like, glow. You can tell that they're glowing, like with a white flame, because like the books around you now have like a white glow at head height. So it's got to be coming off your face, whatever it is. And you can suddenly see you can suddenly see all of your sights have been activated at once. So it's a little bit of a overload of information, but you can see anything now that needs to be seen.
Okay. Cool. Reinhard is surprised by this. He wasn't expecting it. So you mean when you say all sights, you mean I see auras and so on? How?
Auras, spirits.
Okay, for example, if I look at the book, what kind of information do I get? If I just look at the book on the shelf?
Well, the book is made with the skin of a werewolf, is what it's bound in. The paper is from dogwood. The ink is made from charcoal, water, and the bone, like, meal of a sinner. You're not sure what type of sinner, but you're getting like all this kind of information, like on everything you're looking at.
So like everything that can be seen. Okay, so it is overwhelming. It is overwhelming. Reinhard just doesn't know what to do with all this new information. So he stands there a bit confused, and he closes his eyes, and he says, "Thank you for the warning. Perhaps we will not need their aid." He gets down on his knees and he begins to pray. He says, "Lord, please God, Lord, God, please guide me to the book that I need." Well, he says it better than I did, but he's
roll me 10 dice at difficulty 5.
Okay.
As you got all the wild magic dice.
4.
Really? Damn. So,
I rolled a lot of 4s.
You did. when you stand up and you open your eyes again, you can see a little ghostly, like, line on the floor that is going somewhere.
And Reinhard begins to follow the line.
It twists and it turns. It goes through one stack to another stack, goes backwards and goes like across the room. And this room is huge. Like, it is much bigger on the inside than on the out. You go like at least 100 yards to the west, and then you go north some more, and you just keep twisting and turning, till finally, you end up at this big bookcase. And it stops, and it looks like it goes under the bookcase, like under the bookcase to the other side.
Right. What Reinhard will do, he will examine the bookcase. What not and what I mean is he will go to the sides. He will look at the sides. He will see if it's leaning against the wall or something like. I presume it's leaning against the wall.
It is against the wall. It is flush against the wall. With all the sights up, though, however, you can see that one of the books is different than the others. It's mechanical.
Right.
Like, there is something about that book, like, that reminds you of, like, the lever on a catapult. Like, you pull the lever and something happens because of engineers and how they work.
Okay. Reinhard will grab that book and try to pull it out.
When you pull it, the bookcase opens, and on the inside, the line goes in and is now pointing at a single book that is on a pedestal.
Reinhard approaches that book and.
Well, as soon as you go to step towards that book, there are a whole bunch of men in strange cloth suits with pants and these jackets and strange bits of cloth around their neck, a tie basically.
Mm-hmm.
And they're sitting there, and they're like, "How did you do this?"
I prayed.
Prayer shouldn't do anything in this place. It is aspected towards our master.
I do not know who your master is, but I serve the Lord, and the Lord guided me, and His power is infinite.
Like, you see one of them writing down really quickly as you're saying this, on paper, with a strange quill instrument.
Right. I believe the information I seek is in that book.
Well, you found a book in this place, so yes, that is the book that you're looking for. They look very agitated, that you have found this book. You don't even have to roll perception and empathy. They are very agitated and not a little bit scared. And not but a little bit scared.
Reinhard looks at him and says, "I will now take this book. Please do not try to stop me." And he does exactly that. But because he senses that they're agitated, he's kind of ready to quickly go for his sword.
As you go to pick it up, Roland, who has been standing there and just following you, instead picks up the book. "This has a bit of information that would cause your mind to be cursed and harmed. Let me read this for you." And you can hear him praying in Latin, "Guide my hand, guide my feet, allow me to bring forth your follower to where we're supposed to go." He's praying over this book.
Mm-hmm.
And these men are getting more and more agitated the more that he talks.
Well, I don't get agitated. That's their problem. Reinhardt just waits, and he has his shield at his side, and he has his sword. He loosened his sword, so if they try anything funny, he'll be ready for it.
Well, like he opens the book and a sickly green light comes out of it. And he flips the page after page. Like, Roland must know how to read really good, because you know that it generally takes you, like, 10 minutes or more to read a single page of letters.
Oh, I think he's a little faster than that. I mean, Reinhardt does have. He's pretty smart.
Yeah, but reading and writing weren't, taught extremely well back in the day.
Yeah, fine. Okay, fine. Fair point.
Like, you can read and write, and that's amazing for your day and age. It's just that, you were taught to read and write at a later time in life, so it's like you take a bit more time.
Okay, we can talk about it later. Right now, Roland is reading from the book.
And he keeps flipping the pages, he's reading it. And all of the creatures are they're now like creatures you can see. Like, they're kind of hunched. Their hands end in these black claws that kind of drip this viscous green fluid. And they're kind of shrinking, and they're kind of like imp size.
Okay, Reinhardt is getting a little worried, so he crosses himself, and he.
That'll be another roll.
Okay, same as before.
I gotta see how many wild dice you get. Okay, so that'll be 7 dice.
Difficulty?
And this is going to be at difficulty 7.
Wait, oh, forgot the hashtag. I mean the.
Alright, so a glowing shield of white light is now surrounding you, in a semicircle, going from one wall to the other. And they hiss, and one of them screeches and jumps at the wall and hits it and is thrown backwards and knocks over one of the bookshelves.
Reinhardt looks up and he says, quiet, under his breath, he says, "Thank you, Lord." And he waits for Roland to read whatever he needs to read.
Time is going by, and it takes Roland, about 5 minutes to read this book, and he's going at a very fast clip. As he's getting deeper into the book, he's flipping the pages faster and faster. And other things are now outside of the barrier of white light. And they kind of poke and prod at the light. That's obviously one of those werewolf creatures. And it has a silver sword, a great sword that is got green ichor coming off of it, and he slams it into the barrier and nothing happens. And he just looks at it and kind of huffs angrily. Roland, when he gets done, looks up. Well then, would you like to leave, or would you like to fight?
I would like to leave, and I will fight if I must. But I do not wish to fight if it's not necessary. It would delay us. And he looks around and he says, "But I'm beginning to fear that a fight will that we will not be able to avoid it."
That merely depends upon you, brother. Should you pray and wish it hard enough, we could be gone now.
And at that, then Reinhard goes down on his knees and he begins praying. And he begins to pray to be out of this place. Lord, bring me out of the darkness of the library, out into the open.
Well, that's going to be 9 dice. The reason that I'm getting these numbers is your Arte is 5. Or not Arte, your Arte is 1. Your Avatar is 5. And you get wild magic dice on top of that.
Okay, tell me what difficulty I should roll.
You're wearing difficulty 6. There is a being trying to stop you, but your prayers and your strength are too great.
3 successes.
Well, with 3 successes, you manage to pray, and a white circle appears below your feet and below Reinhardt's, and you are now sitting inside a park. It looks like, well, a open land surrounded by tall buildings with much glass, and you are kind of in the middle of this area.
So
Out of character, you're in Central Park.
Oh, so we actually got out of the place. We didn't. Okay.
I only rolled 2 successes. You got 3.
Okay. Reinhard was expecting to get out of the library and still be in the dark place, but now he sees that no, he's not in that place anymore. It is a different place. And he looks at Roland. Is Roland there?
You can see Roland, but it doesn't look like anyone else can see him.
Okay, and he asks Roland, "Is this?" And he stops a bit. No, he doesn't stop and think. He just says, "Is this New York place?"
Roland looks around. Yes, I believe it is, brother.
And Reinhard rises. "Then I must seek out that church." And what time of the day is it?
It's approaching night quickly.
Okay, so it's
you can't really tell because you can't hold your hand up to the horizon to tell time in the old way. But with as dark as it is, you're guessing maybe less than an hour before it gets dark. Also, with all of your sights up, you notice that there are about 80 creatures in this park. And I say creatures because they're part human, part spirit.
okay. Reinhard doesn't. Well, that's something he'll have to worry about later. He wants to find that church, and he wants to find out what is going on and what his task is, what his quest is. So he's doing the main quest. he'll do the side quests later. So he looks around to see if he can see any churches in the distance.
Give me perception alertness. And then give me perception alertness at 9, and then give me perception awareness at 6.
In 9. Well, the first one failed, and the second one has 3 successes. So alertness fails, awareness has 3 successes.
You can't necessarily see any church, but you can feel a holiness coming from like the west. You're pretty sure that you're maybe 4, maybe less miles from it.
Okay, Rainer gets up and begins walking in that direction.
As you walk, you can hear these thunderous rolling sounds going by, and you can see metal like zooming by at high speeds.
So is this zooming past me or a bit further? How close to me are they zooming past?
Well, you're not in the road, but they obviously are, driving on a road.
Yeah,
that carts would be on.
Out of character, I kind of figured that out. Like, how far away from Roland is this road?
Like 10 feet. Like you're trying to keep next to the buildings, away from, the roads, because
so
and others get run over.
So out of so I'm not in the park anymore.
No. Like you were at the edge of the park, so you just started walking out of the park.
Okay, so when the first one of these things comes, Reinhard will put up his shield and go a bit to the side, and he'll put a hand on his sword, and then it goes past, and he follows it with his head. And then another one comes, and he's keeping his shield up, but they just keep going past. So after a bit, he relaxes, and then he begins moving on. But he's keeping his shield a little bit up and ready in case one of these metal things suddenly changes direction and goes for him.
As you're walking on the side of the road, you notice that the road is the side of the road is pretty even. Like not a lot of rocks or anything else on it. Though you do occasionally see like glass bottles and trash.
Yeah. It seems strange to Reinhard that so many glass bottles would be just left at the side. And well, trash is trash. He's used to cities being dirty, so the trash doesn't startle him. Are there any other people there?
There are some people, but they are all changing directions and going different ways than you.
Oh, so the heavily armored guy. So they don't want to walk past the heavily armored guy.
Nope, like they're crossing the street to keep from walking with you.
Okay. Reinhard doesn't mind. This is all very strange. So if he doesn't have to deal with people until he finds out what the hell is going on, that's fine with him. And every time a car, he's walking in the direction, and every time a car begins approaching, he stops and he puts his shield up, and then when the car is past, he relaxes a bit and goes on. And he keeps walking in the general direction of the holiness.
Sorry, it was just changing the picture. I don't want that one. That's not John. All right. Like you're going towards the holiness, and you're going, and I'm gonna need another perception awareness from you, so that you can try to pinpoint it.
Okay. Difficulty
6.
3 successes.
All right. Well, you know that you're going in the right direction.
Actually,
And
you rolled 2 10s and an 8.
yeah, so you know that this is exactly the right direction you need to be going.
Okay.
Roland still has this book open and is now going through it slowly.
And Reinhardt says, "Oh, you did not give the book back?"
Why would I give a book back to my enemies?
Roland stops and thinks, "We did not come to steal it."
It was there for the taking, and looting from the conquered or from your enemies is permitted by just law.
Hmm.
Just like spelled like that, capital J, as in like justice.
Okay. Reinhardt, he thinks about it a little, but well, they took it from what appeared to be devils, so it's fine. And he goes straight for the church.
All right. Well, you're walking probably another 10 to 15 minutes. People are kind of talking, but you don't understand anything that they're saying. Like, it is very strange. And there are a lot of people following you now. And as you get up to the church, it is huge. It is larger than any cathedral that you have ever seen in your life. And that includes the Grand Cathedral in both France, Paris, France, and the one in Germany. Because I'm guessing that you would have traveled, in that direction, basically, to get to the Holy Land.
Well, he is from the Holy Empire originally. Then he lived in France. He did pass through Constantinople. So he would have seen the Hagia Sophia.
Yes, this is like 5, maybe even 6 times bigger than that cathedral.
Oh wow.
This cathedral is huge. And it is covered in stained glass. Like, this stained glass doesn't even have any bubbles that you can see in it.
Yeah. Reinhardt's eyes are wide open in awe. It's just, wow, this is amazing. He doesn't say that, but anyone who would look at his face could read the emotion from it. And he walks towards the door.
The door is, like, both doors are swung open as if to let in anyone that needs to come in. Roland, for his part, like, when you go into the cathedral, says, "I will be going for a walk. I will see you later."
And Reinhardt nods and says, "See you later, brother." And it feels good to be able to call Roland brother.
He just nods and goes Deus Vult and walks off, and the crowd seems to part for him, but it doesn't look like it looks like they're doing it subconsciously, not so much like consciously getting out of his way.
So they get out of his way, but they don't look at him.
Yeah.
Okay, and Reinhardt just walks into the cathedral and heads towards the altar.
There is a priest inside. He is dusting the tabernacle. There is some junior priests you can see. They are sweeping the floors. There are some younger boys that are going and putting out you think Bibles. I mean, Latin and English aren't anywhere near the same, but you think those are Bibles. And there's a man sitting in the front pew. He's got his hat is off. He is wearing kind of like those suits that the librarians were wearing, but he has a rosary that he is counting in his seat.
Okay. Okay, I as the player, I can recognize the quest NPC, but Reinhardt will walk towards the priest. And he'll address the priest in Latin. And he'll say, actually, let me think what he'll say. He'll say something like, please excuse me for interrupting you, Father. But the angel told me to come here, and that here I would find answers.
The man looks a bit shocked at someone talking to him straight up in Latin. And then he looks more shocked as you are what looks like a knight in, armor, and he really doesn't understand what's going on, but he looks at you, and then you notice that he then looks at the man in the pews.
And then Reinhardt will follow the look. And will also look at the man in the pew. And he will be looking between the man in the pew and the priest. He'll turn his head from one to the other. Like whenever.
Well, my son, it is considered rude for knights to enter fully armed into a house of the Lord in this area.
Out of character. Who is saying this?
The priest. The priest is talking to you.
And Reinhardt will say, I apologize. And he will unbuckle his belt and his sword, and he'll take his sword off. And he will say, where shall I lay down my sword?
Let me do a few rolls, because this man is kind of freaked out. There is a what looks to be knight in full armor handing him a sword.
Well, yeah, if If it's rude to come with a sword, well, then you just get rid of the sword, right?
Yeah. Can't fault your logic. And you see the man stand up, and he grabs his hat, and he walks over, and he looks to the priest, and he says, "I have this, Father. This will probably be one of mine."
He says that in. Does he say that in a language Reinhard recognizes, or does
He
he
is
say it in
talking in
English?
Latin because you are talking in Latin.
Okay. That's nice. And Reinhard simply looks at him and waits.
He takes the sword, and you see that he wraps it with care, like how a knight would, like that uses his sword on a daily basis.
Mhm.
And I need you to give me a perception alertness check.
6, 7 difficulty.
Oh no. This is gonna be 4.
Okay.
Someone that you should recognize.
3 successes out of 3 round out of 3 dice.
So, you've heard tales of John Chandos, said to have been the perfect knight of chivalry of the English. And you've seen like some of the like drawings of him and whatnot. And you're pretty sure if you put a mustache on this guy that it's John.
What did you say was the name? John what?
Chandos. I will get you. I think you should know this guy. If not, you do anyway.
I know this guy. The storyteller says so.
Yeah, pretty much. Sir John Chandos, Viscount of Saint Sauveur in Cotentin, Constable of Aquitaine, Seneschal of Poitou, hails from Radbourne Hall, Derbyshire.
Okay, can you give me a link so I know how his name is spelled?
Yes. And like he has like little pins on and whatnot that you'll be able to understand with your basic knowledge of heraldry who this guy is.
Oh, actually, it seems he lived in the 14th century.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that your connection with Roland is giving
so
you this
basically, I
information.
recognize him even because I predate him.
Yeah,
Despite predating him, I recognize him. Okay.
because magic and Roland.
Okay. So Reinhard, he introduces himself. He says, "My name is Reinhard. I was on the crusade." He doesn't say first crusade. He says the crusade because he doesn't know about any others. So I was a part of the crusade when an angel appeared before me and told me that I was more needed elsewhere.
Well, praise God, brother. Come with me. We should talk away from the priests. At least we upset their daily routine.
And Reinhard will nod and follow.
He takes you into the back where the priests normally go,
Okay.
or those of great spiritual importance.
Okay.
And there are some really nice seats in here. Like, wow! And there's like fresh fruit is sitting on the table. Like, you can't remember the last time you saw, like, fresh apples, fresh oranges,
Well, yeah,
grape.
I've been on a crusade now for a while, so yeah, we've been fighting. It's been a while since I've been since we've left Constantinople, so yeah, the supplies been running a bit low now. Fresh apples. Reinhard's mouth begins to water a little bit, but he doesn't reach for any of the fruit. He waits.
Um, the man sits down in one of the chairs and motions for you to sit down in the other.
And so Reinhard will sit down.
He pulls out like a knife that you, from your time, recognize as the kind that you use to eat with. Like, it is a regular belt knife.
Okay.
And he takes one of the green apples and starts cutting it up, like rotating it around and around and around so that he's peeling off the skin. And then looks up and he realizes that you are like just looking. He says, "Go ahead, eat some. This is the house of the Lord. Break your fast."
And Reinhard will grab an apple and begin eating it. Does not peel it.
So, an angel of the Lord came before you, and where did you go after that?
The angel brought me to a dark place. I do not know what it was. It looked like hell, but I was told it is not the hell that I know. There was a great tower there, and a palace of glass, and a library. And there were these creatures, these wolf men. And inside the library there were, well, they seemed to be imps or devils or something like that.
Ah, I understand where you were. So, tell me, did you find anything of any importance while you were there? Did you learn anything about yourself?
I do not really. Well, miracles happened, several miracles happened, and whenever I would pray, the Lord would immediately answer. Um, I, I, I prayed for guidance, and the Lord led me and Roland to a book, and I prayed for protection, and the Lord surrounded us with light. And I prayed to leave that wretched place, and I appeared here, well, outside, in the place with the trees.
Well then, let me begin by telling you that you are in the year of our Lord 2000XX. Once again, it is this huge number.
Okay, yes.
Also, like, I have the XX to stand for like any time. It's easier.
20XX.
Yeah,
Same number.
20XX. So, you are here, and this is New York. This is the cathedral that I had built upon coming to New York. And if you have need, you may of course stay here, though is a better place for miracle workers such as yourself. Because that is what you are now. God has gifted you the ability to work miracles.
Praise God.
Some will call you a magus or mage. Be not timid of heart. You are here because God has placed you here for a reason.
A mage? Like a sorcerer?
There are those that are called sorcerers in um, this world, yes, but not in the same way that we thought of during the Crusade.
Hmm. Speaking of the Crusade, since it's been nearly 1,000 years, how did it end?
Well, Jerusalem is within Israel now, and it is its own country, held by Jews, and all are allowed to go there and pray. Whether they need to go to the Hill of Skulls or to other holy places.
Hmm. So they succeeded. They captured Jerusalem and freed it from the Turks. That is good to know. It pleases me that they were able to succeed without me.
Well then, this is going to come as a mighty upset to you, but the Crusades failed to keep Jerusalem. It is merely that um, the Knights Templar have been working tirelessly throughout time to have it restored.
And Reinhard is he's he there was shock in his face when he sees that when he hears Crusades failed. Uh, he doesn't. He's not really sure what to say, and what he says. Well, I suppose I shall have to look into a history book at some point.
There were battles that were fought that shouldn't have been fought, um, against odds that were never in our favor.
It must have been God's will.
It pleased the Lord to spill the blood of the heathen at the time, but um, most will tell you that God has become a more gentle and loving God since our day and time.
Hmm. I see.
Um, you've also, like, just looking at him, like, you can see like a tie pin with the Templar cross on it.
A what with a Templar
A
cross?
tie
I had
pin.
type
Yeah.
in. Okay.
Um, and for your edification, because you now have an avatar that has some knowledge, you are slowly learning English,
Okay.
written and read, and you are given a little bit of history, even though you weren't there,
Hmm.
but you can see how history played out. Um, but your knowledge is without studying or doing scenes is based on the medieval times, the Renaissance, knights,
Yes.
and that kind of thing.
Yes.
But now you know how a lot of things have happened in the past. You just don't know anything about the present, really.
Okay.
And it's slowly going to be coming to you over the next 24 hours till you know just about everything.
Okay. So you mean I just common general knowledge of history?
Hmm.
Okay.
You have common general knowledge at this point. In 24 hours after this scene, you will know everything about the Crusades, about knights, and the
Okay.
medieval and dark ages.
Okay.
Um, back in character. John just looks at you. So, here's the rough part of it. Um, generally, people don't walk around fully armed and armored anymore. They have standing militaries for that, and constables that look down upon it, because there is no king in this nation.
There is no king?
There is no king, or queen for that matter.
Who rules the land then?
Did you ever hear stories of Rome in your time?
Yes.
You know how Rome had people that had a senate, and they voted and got things done that way?
I do not.
Alright, so people elect senators and others to advance their needs and causes. These elected officials make the rules.
So it is not like the mayors of towns.
Yes. But there is a judicial system, a system of judges that interpret the laws and, hand out the punishments.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is an executive branch, which is kind of like a king, but he too is elected every 4 years.
Oh, I see.
And this man, or these men, they control how the armies go back and forth.
Well, yes, of course. That is what kings do.
There is a great deal of information that I will need to impart upon you. The least of which is that, as a miracle worker, there are others like us that, through sheer force of will, can have various effects happen, like our miracles.
But they differ from us? In what way?
Not all of them are Christian.
Shock and horror.
Some of them are...
So we fight these heathens?
No, we do not, because the Lord God, in His infinite wisdom, has given them to us as allies. You do not have to like them. That is not something that I will ever tell you. You do not have to like these people. But they are your allies in a war against the demonic. Just like the French don't like the English, but they marched to war under the symbol of the cross, yes?
Yes. These do not march under the symbol of the cross, but I will come to terms with it. If the Lord wills it, I shall obey.
Out of character, were you a Knight Templar or were you a Celestial Choir? I can't remember. I don't have your sheet right in front of me at the moment.
He was just a knight. I don't know if Templars were. I think Templars were founded after Jerusalem.
No, like your mage tradition. Like I know
my mage tradition.
Knight tradition.
I didn't write anything down. He'll probably be. I mean, because I didn't really see where. I think he'll be the choir. Celestial Choir.
All right. I need to know for the next part for this specific NPC. There is a celestial choir. It is a group of members that have come together to praise the One. They may call it something other than the Lord, but that is who they are praying to.
Okay, wait. You said something about Templars?
Yeah, I had to understand whether you were a Templar or not, because this is...
Wait, what are I out of character? I don't know what the Templars are in the context of Mage.
Oh, they are another faction in Mage, like Celestial Chorus.
Oh, then I think I would
Avashi.
probably sooner be a Templar.
Okay, well, all right. Like if you're going to be a Templar, then
It sounds more fitting for a knight.
let me think how my NPC is reacting. So there is a group of us miracle workers that are in hiding. We claim to be part of the Celestial Chorus or Choir, but we are actually members of the Order of the Knights Templar. These are secret things because our rules are a bit different and more harsh. We slay the evil that walks around us. We do not simply pray for it to go away. We actively kill that which is evil. This has caused us no few amounts of enemies, which is why we must hide our purpose for a time.
So in a way, it is a crusade, but eternal.
Exactly, it is the eternal crusade. For there will always be evil until the Lord comes back. And until that time, we must stand vigilant and ready.
And Reinhardt nods. And he feels good about it. You know, he can get behind an eternal crusade and slaying evil.
So, the thing about this is that we may not readily tell others about our crusade, because we do not wish to, how do you say, we don't wish to put any of these people in jeopardy that aren't yet ready to
I understand. We must not forget to protect innocence while we slay evil.
Exactly. There is quite a bit of evil in the city, and there is one new member of our group. His name is Arnold. He is a new recruit, much like you. He understands the miracles that are happening better than you, but he is not as proficient in might of arms. It would please me, Reinhardt, if you would take him under your wing, as he will take you under his, so that you may both better understand the Lord's will.
And Rainier knows it shall be done.
Well then, if you need to go anywhere from now on, I would like you to push this device, and it will call for someone to help you get to where you need to go, much like a or a coach driver or wagoneer. And he pulls out a little box with a button on it.
Hmm. And Reinhardt carefully takes the box.
Think of this like a horn that blows without sound.
A most strange horn, but I see.
It's like how you have the whistles for the dogs that we don't hear, but dogs do.
Mm-hmm.
But the man that will show up will help you get from place to place and do so in a fashion that will not bring great attention to you.
I shall probably need new clothes that will not stand out as much.
Yes, we will fix that when we get to the Chantry of the Light. But for now, I must go outside and see to the priests so that we can assure them that you did not come here to harm anyone. For they are peaceful priests. They do not counsel violence against others.
Very well. Where shall I stay? You said there was a better place than this?
Yes, if you stay here for maybe another half candle mark, aka 30 minutes, I will return and we shall go there together.
Very well. I shall do so. If I am a bit hungry, so...
You may eat of the fruit here, and if you are still hungry, well, you must certainly have not broke your fast in a little while. I will send bread and beef for you to eat.
That is most gracious of you.
It is what hosts do. We celebrate when nights come together, because you never know if this will be the last time seeing each other.
Indeed.
And he's going to go and he's going to talk to the priests. He's going to smooth everything out. He has a lot of pull over the religious, so they're like, oh, this is perhaps some, patient from a hospital or something that believes he is a knight, and you are helping him to bring him to the Lord and to sanity. You are such a kind man, John Smith.
Yeah.
And I am going to end this scene here, because we are going to wait to try to get the two Knights Templar together for the next one.
Okay.
Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. And remember, Deus Vult.
Deus Vult.